Hello everybody and welcome to a super special spooky interview with James Macleod, the creative director of Vertpaint Games.
Hello.
How are you doing, James?
Yeah, I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about Ritual Tides. That's why we're here, man. I'm so excited. This game looks fantastic and we've only had the tiniest tease of it, so...
Yeah. So obviously this is going out after IGN have dropped the teaser, which is awesome. But yeah, we're looking to get more stuff as we go. For now, super bare bones, but yeah, February, we're dropping our first gameplay trailer.
Oh, it's not long.
Oh, yeah, no, really excited.
Yeah, and that's what we are here for. We're here to talk all about Ritual Tides, the new game coming from you guys that is fresh off the presses. And I think I just want to ask you straight up, like, what is it? If you had to sell it in just a few sentences, what is Ritual Tides?
Great question. So Ritual Tides, it's first of all, it's a horror title. It's single player, a first person experience. And we basically drop the player on this fictional island, sort of near the coast of Cornwall, and we just don't tell them much, and they explore, and things go terribly wrong. And yeah, we're sort of massively inspired by like Lovecraftian literature, and it's got all those flavors. Internally, we describe it as Lovecraft meets Jurassic Park.
Oh
Lovecraft
my
and
God,
Jurassic Park.
yeah, that's some serious influences going on.
Yeah, no, it's like, again, we don't upset Steven Spielberg, but internally it's just something we love to sort of like use like anecdotally, because it kind of describes what we love about the game. It's got all this like variation in enemies, and like, like you're obviously stuck on an island and you're trying to work out how to circumnavigate that.
The Island Nublar of horror games, isn't it?
Exactly. I love that you know the Island Nublar.
Yeah. So how would you describe the Jurassic Park part of this game? Is it because there's like lots of big monsters, or is it variation? Like what draws that?
Yeah. So I can hear like my writer just kicking me, but like, don't say much. But essentially it is that there's so much variation. One of the things we were inspired by is making a game in which the player isn't repeating content, so they're not encountering the same enemy twice, and if they are, it's very, very sort of specific as to why they're doing that. It's not just like, here's one type of enemy and we throw it in front of the player all the time. So variation is sort of really, really key to us. We've got sort of quite a strong art background in sort of the way, the makeup of the studio. So getting really interesting designs and sort of variation in there was important to us. That's one of the things that I'm most proud of as well. The other side, you're on an island, and everything's gone wrong. So that's the sort of atmosphere we're going for.
British islands kind of have that special spooky eeriness to them as well, don't they?
It is. A lot of our inspiration comes from British folklore. We've tried sort of like lacing that through the entire experience. And yeah, just the thing we love so much early on is that even when we were building the base architecture and we were going and sort of shooting all the different locations, the buildings alone, when you take all the lights out and you bring it back to that sort of like eerie, like rural setting, they do so much of the horror for you.
Yeah.
So it made it really fun and sort of like sequencing in these different events, and I try not to ruin anything. But yeah, no. The setting is something we're absolutely obsessed with. And I know a lot of games say this, but I would argue that the environment is well, in many ways like the main character of the game. So I was about to go off in a million ways to explain it, but I'll try and stop there.
Please do. But I know you also want to keep some secrets for when we actually get to
I'm
play
actually
it
really
well.
nervous. Yeah.
You're doing well so far. So to move you away from the story, keep the secrets safe, what are sort of the horror influences that have shaped the game so far?
No, awesome question. So predominantly sort of Lovecraftian literature. We've got a lot in the game that is that sort of like blend of cosmological horror, which is sort of really strong influence. The old ones, I've always been a big fan of those stories growing up. But otherwise, the filmmaker Robert Eggers, he's a big inspiration of mine. The Witch was sort of hugely influential. One of the things I loved about his process of making movies is that he actually had all the sort of like buildings constructed, I believe, in the same way they were constructed back in that time period. And that kind of approach to development is something we've taken on board quite extensively. Yeah, it's a very bespoke approach to making games. Very silly, expensive approach, but that's been a big cornerstone behind the sort of the development inspiration, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know a random witch fact is Robert Eggers was really upset when the film released because he didn't edit out Anya Taylor-Joy's earring holes in post, because he was like, that's not time accurate.
Oh, no.
So is that the kind of level we're talking with Ritual Tides?
We've gone insane. Yeah. Like I wouldn't want to profess that we're sort of Robert Eggers level in any way, but we've definitely gone like to the extremes to represent these sort of environments and whatnot.
Yeah, I know we talked a lot about The Apostle as well, which has been on Netflix as just like a great reference point for this, which I think is really, really nice as well. So
to be honest, there's such a long list of like, that's an inspiration. It's a big sort of cauldron of like, that Lovecraftian, otherworldly type thing. I'm trying again not to say too much, but very much, I love the Apostle. And so does our lead writer. He's a big fan.
Yeah. How does it fit into kind of the Cthulhu mythos and Lovecraft writing as a whole, or is it very much kind of just drawn from the inspirations that have...
Yeah, so this was actually something that was, at the beginning of the project, a big conversation, like, do we go the sort of August Derleth sort of route and actually bring in or invoke the real sort of Necronomicon and whatnot?
Yeah.
It is different, but by no stretch of imagination is it wholly unique. It has a lot of influences and some things that we've put in there as a big nod. But yeah, I guess I would say it's outside of the ethos, but it is the biggest sort of, you know, we're massive fans. It's really obvious.
Like,
yeah. You notice that it is definitely inspired by that type of storytelling anyway.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm so excited for this game, by the way. I don't know if I've said it enough times, but like I am so excited to see
I'm so excited that you're excited. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah, and I would love to know how it kind of is different from other horror games on the market at the moment, because I know we've spoken about influences and the ways that it evokes different feelings that maybe we're familiar with, but what's the unique selling point of Ritual Tides?
Yeah, no, really good question again. So like, so one of the things that we are really trying to sort of stand out in, I guess, is that we've talked about it a little bit before, but enemy variation is huge to us. So making sure that it's inspired by like Silent Hill, another massive inspiration for us. Having a big variation in the sort of things the player has to like encounter essentially and deal with. That's sort of that's one of our sort of unique selling points. But the other one is an interesting one because we are a new game studio, because we're independent. All of our makeup and all of our team essentially, we're built up from AAA developers. So we're trying to push the visual fidelity as far as possible, and like my team will hate this, but the bar is to try and make the most. They're going to hate this for multiple reasons, but the goal that's been set is to make the most like visually impressive game of 2025. And yeah, like I'm really confident. I know it's giving yourself enough rope to hang yourself, but I'm super confident based on development so far. And yeah, that's sort of a big one of our USPs.
Yeah.
Not a million. In the indie scene. Like, I'm not saying graphics are the most important thing, gameplay, narrative, all those sort of should be ahead of it. But certainly speaking, from my experience, the indie scene doesn't see so much of that like graphical love in the horror market, and that's something we do want to bring in and want to have that like seal of quality on there. That's what we want to bring to it anyway.
And you said 2025 there as well, so we're looking at next year. For
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, we're definitely looking at. Well, that's something I am definitely looking at. The team are also looking at it, but I know we've got a mountain to climb. There's no way about it. But it's because of the goals that we set, and we've made this such an ambitious sort of like debut title. But yeah, we'll get there. I'm sure we'll get there.
100%. When it comes to combat kind of interactions in your game as well, how does that work? Are we talking walking simulator? Or are we talking popping off a shotgun?
So it is an awesome question. It's one of those ones. So we plan to do our first gameplay reveal in February. And the biggest debate internally at the minute is, do we show that side of the game or do we not? Do we leave that till slightly later in the sort of marketing campaign to... Yeah, so I'm going to answer your question with a bit of a non-answer. In a Lovecraftian game, for me, if you give someone a gun, you are sort of undermining the cosmological horror aspect. You know, like this is well documented, but essentially you shouldn't really have too much power. It's not a power fantasy. It's much more like you have to escape. How are you going to deal with this situation, as opposed to like go around and shoot with the monsters. I really don't want to give too much away there, but we're really excited about sort of showing off that aspect.
Yeah.
In terms of a walking simulator. There are definitely moments in the game where we thought, pack more design in there. We need to have this area have like either a puzzle. There are moments in the game where we've reverted sort of gameplay mechanics and whatnot, because the setting is so it's endemic of the experience we want to create. You have those moments of rest, but there are moments in the game we've deliberately had. So it is quite walking simulator in that. It's just taking in the beauty of the world, and then the tragedy of what's happened. That's a really big thing for us. And so pacing in the game has been really thought about and debated. And Max Cutler, our design director, he's done a fantastic job, as has Seth, of just like building this lovely, elegant, I guess, pattern that the gameplay sort of follows. So yeah, there are definitely walking moments, but it's not. We wanted to really steer clear from being just a walking simulator. I actually love walking simulator games, and I'm a massive fan of Dear Esther. Everyone's gone to the Rapture. Those experiences actually sort of have been massive influences for me. But yeah, no, we've got a slightly faster pace, adrenaline pumping side of our game.
Yeah. I love that you've pulled out those two, because they are so like British focused as well. They have that like eerie energy.
That absolutely, yeah. No, I think they did a really good job. And Dear Esther, I can't remember, how old is Dear Esther now? like
It's a few years old.
yeah, it still stands up. It's still a lovely experience.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're definitely a lot of inspiration has been taken from those titles. We do love them.
Yeah, I would love to hear more about this particular machine we've got on the
Yeah.
table as well, because talking about the environments and the walking kind of side of your game, I know you've mentioned previously that this is kind of tool that you use to bring the world to life.
Yeah. So huge thank you to Lucas from
Yeah.
Compwiz. He sorts all of our tech problems and most of our problems, to be honest. This is a bit of photogrammetry kit. So super commonplace to use photogrammetry in the industry. What is sort of not commonplace is the way in which we're using photogrammetry. And not to sort of give too much away, but this is where one of our sort of like internal USPs is coming in. We're really sort of focusing on making sure that the macro and the micro in the game is just the highest quality it can be. So a big old Viking looking dude called Chris, one of our, well, he's our lead material artist. He's insane, and in my opinion, probably the best material artist in the world. He pops around and lugs these cameras around, and he's massive, so he's sort of doing it like that, and it's quite a heavy piece of kit. But yeah, so you know, we would be at a loss about these. Like all of our scan work to date is completely generated in house. We're constantly out shooting. Like we're always on the moors, and but really fun part of the job. And
Yeah.
it makes the game have a really unique fingerprint, which is our biggest goal, really.
Because that's the moors down in Devon, right?
Yes, yeah, Dartmoor. So we're always in Dartmoor. We shoot all around the place now, but we're constantly returning there to sort of reshoot. And you know, we've been so often. We've got like calendars of all this flower comes up this time of the year, and we need to.
cool.
It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
so much, yeah.
And so intrinsic as well, like as in all of these little tiny details all working together. It sounds wonderful. Have you captured any like beasts with it if you've got loads of monsters?
No. So we've done like all of our creatures. Essentially, they're done more sort of like traditional sort of gameplay, game development route. But we do have like, for example, like skin captures and that sort of stuff. So that does go into the sort of the character makeup and how we actually sort of build the final sort of materials and textures out.
So can you show us kind of how it works? Can you show us how it handles?
Yeah. So like essentially, it's again Lucas was a massive help in making this, but essentially there's quite a lot to it, to be honest. So basically, you've got these sort of custom handles which allow you sort of more comfortable when you're scanning. You know, you might take 1,000 photos of a rock, so you've got to be sort of comfortable holding it. But essentially, what it does is it sort of try and describe it. Basically, it stops specular reflections being taken in the photo. So if you take a photo of, let's say, this lovely book from Alexei Sherbak, in great bookstores everywhere, I'm sure. If you take a photo of that, you see it's got like a shiny film.
Yeah.
This would take away the specular, so you get what's called the true albedo. And so you've also got to have it on the lens cap as well, and you've got to sync them up. There's all this sort of stuff we have to do to get the perfect shoots. If I can put that back. And yeah, so essentially you've got this little radio transmitter which talks to the flash and all this. And
God. So with all of this wonderful behind the scenes tech and the monsters you're creating, and from us hearing Lovecraftian Jurassic Park, I'm really interested to know if we have like a T-Rex moment, you know, that it all leads up to. Is there some crazy freak that's going to be this massive
No,
climax?
that's really cool. Like I know exactly what you mean. Yes. There's a couple, to be honest. I've got Max in my ear saying, don't say that. So what I'm looking forward to doing is throughout this sort of like marketing campaign, we do want to highlight a couple of really, really scary moments in the game. It's always that blend with horror. Like we want to show off everything, but we also want to show nothing because we want people to experience the game and be truly like terrified in the experience. And the more you sort of show people ahead of time, it's a balancing act. So we will show a couple of those moments, and at the moment internally we're debating which moment we drop in February. I'm leaning towards not showing the T-Rex moment, like showing that later, but that, you know.
Save your T-Rex, of course.
That's it, that's what I was thinking. Like we go like 3 months out from release, drop all the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Let people see stuff. But yeah. So we do have a couple of those moments.
It's absolutely vile being a horror fan and like wanting to know every single disgusting thing that's going to go on in this game, but also trying to preserve the mystery of it as well. It's that
for
conflict.
me, talking, I'm like the worst person on the team to be talking about this because I know that I'm more likely to give away things. But no, I share your pain there. That's something I find like super, super difficult.
Yeah, like I'm excited to see what's going on, but also I want to get in there. I think my kind of rounding off question for you, if you can answer in a way that doesn't spoil that spooky surprise, what part of the game are you most excited for players to experience for the first time? What piece are you most proud of that you're going to direct people to?
Yeah, really good question. There's a moment when you walk into this, let's just call it this house, and you get what I like about it is just, it's actually one of the sad moments in the game. So you walk into this house and you're trying to sort of piece together, you know, this door was left open and you know, try not to ruin things again, but you find things in the house that paints a bit of a picture. And then there's a reveal moment that is like like really tough. It's a really tough moment in the story anyway. Yeah. That's one because like throughout the process of building that, it's been really like it reminds you that the story we're trying to tell is really traumatic and sad. So it's really fun. It's like you've got all this really like lovely Lovecraftian stuff going on. But one of the things we want to highlight is that the people who've gone through this experience have had a really, really hard time. And that moment is like, ooh, okay. And it's quite early in the game and it sets quite a big precedence moving forward. So that's one I really am looking forward to. People probably not care. Run through it and whatever, mate. Get notes, throw stuff. But that moment for me, I think, will be really fun. Otherwise, there's a couple of jump scares that I'm just like, I can't wait. And we're definitely not going to market those because I want to see like just like organic reactions to it, you know.
Yeah, as a yeller, when anything scares me,
Perfect.
I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. I did say that was rounding off question, but I do have another one.
No, please go.
Which is with all of this kind of traumatic work and the horror side of things. How's it been working with your team? Are they all sick freaks as well?
Oh yeah, every one of them are heathens.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like my team, like so it's very, very like cliche to say, but like the team are just like the best thing about working on the projects. We had this like vision 5 years ago that we wanted to become an independent game developer, and obviously we've like built up finances eventually and managed to sort of make it come true. But the team we have developing it, like everyone's a superstar. Like it is absolutely unbelievable. Like there are members like Graham, if you are watching this, like there's, and this goes for many people in the team, but like let's say Graham said, I've got another offer, mate, I've been offered to go here. I would give him 2/3 of my salary and then do his laundry every Thursday. Do you know what I mean? Like he's that important to the development of the game, and he's just such a nice guy to work with. Max, who is my works husband, like I've worked with him for years. We used to like when I was working at Rockstar, like I'd finish work, I'd ring Max, and then I'd sit down in a cafe and we'd talk about what we're going to learn that week. So it'd be like, back then we were learning concept art, so it was like color theory or whatever. And like this guy would like text me at like 2 p.m. in the day, and he'd be like, mate, I've just watched this like a Scott Robertson thing or whatever. By the way, I've learned this. I've cracked colour theory, I've cracked perspective or whatever. And I'm like, you bastard! Like, and I'm like, what have you learned? Show me. And so now that I'm working with all these people on like a professional capacity and like every day, like pouring love into this product, like. It's just so fun. I've forgotten what the original question was. I started talking about doing Graham's laundry. So like, no, the whole team are absolutely insane. Like, I'm the biggest cheerleader of the studio, to be honest. And yeah, it's just a pleasure. It's just fun.
Yeah, well, they've been described as the SEAL team of gaming, haven't they?
Yeah, by Jonathan Brew. Thank you very much. No, he's a really great guy. He's been awesome to work with in the past, and like, we've had like glowing testimonials throughout our journey here, which has been fantastic. We have only ever had amazing clients, which has been really, really awesome for us. And I should say, like, two people who are instrumental in like sort of allowing me to build this team and allowing us to go on this game development journey are Laura and Georgina. And in no small part, Sean Davies. They are championing our outsource studio. Those guys do phenomenal work, and it's always so hard not to be like, hey, come over here. But you obviously, you've got to let that team be as strong as it possibly can, and just across the board, we're so lucky, so lucky.
Yeah, because like I guess it's like Vertpaint Games is a fresh name in the industry, but it's not fresh at all. Like it's full horror pedigree as well.
Yeah. So like when I say fresh team, it's basically we've just moved a group of us, and we've said, right, we are focusing on our title, and we're going to just pour all of our love and energy into that. But yeah, like we've got people from Rockstar, people from CIG, TT Games. It's an unbelievable mix for our first indie sort of title, and I guess that's one of the USPs is we've got that experience, we've got that pedigree, and now we just want to sort of show the world like, hey, look, this is what we can do, and hopefully people like it.
Yeah, and put out your dream game. It's happening.
Oh no, that's the thing. We're already winning. Yeah. We're already at the point where we're making this and get to do like crazy stuff every day. So yeah, and it's awesome working with you. We get to actually sort of show people now like what we're doing, and it's just a dream come true, to be honest.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me.
No, thank you.
Like, the teaser is already incredibly exciting, but just hearing more about it, I cannot wait to be able to get hands-on with it in 2025. But we've got to wait until February to see some gameplay.
Yes, yeah.
Is that when the next one's coming?
Yeah, so this teaser is the only bit of like cinematic content that we're putting out there. So essentially, we're committed to everything we show from this point is going to be gameplay. And yeah, February is the first thing we're dropping.
Oh God, you know what the people want. Well, I'm going to be scrutinising every single detail of the teaser until February, and we can have a little look at it now at the end of here as well. So thank you again.
No, thank you. Thanks, Ash.
And let's enjoy.
man behind the light. There is no escape. That knocking, banging, incessant sound without shape. He's nearing now, and run that I might, there is no escape from the man behind the light.